Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 317 based on novel. So let's start. The pale golden light spread out from the mosquito beast's body and enveloped the area. A pressure surrounded the thousands of mosquito beasts, and they also witnessed the birth of a new king. Those red mosquito beasts were the first ones to surrender. Their eyes were filled with awe and they let out cries of approval. As for the hundreds of blue mosquito beasts, there were hints of struggle in their eyes, but as the pressure of the Mosquito King spread out, they also became submissive. The most difficult were the two white mosquito beasts. The two mosquito beasts stared at Wang Lin's Mosquito King. No matter how much Wang Lin's Mosquito King sent out its pressure, their gazes were still cold. Wang Lin's mosquito beast revealed a vicious gaze and let out a hiss. The gazes of all the mosquito beasts gathered on the two white mosquitoes and turned into ferocious gazes. The two white mosquito beasts let out miserable cries. The one that battled Wang Lin's mosquito trembled and its eyes revealed a demonic light. A destructive aura came from its body, and at that instant, its body collapsed. Blood mist spread across the sky, and as it collapsed, the other white mosquito beast also chose to die. It exploded into a mist of blood as well. They'd rather die than obey. These two white mosquito beasts were equal to Nirvana Shatterer cultivators, so their explosions immediately caused a powerful shockwave. The pupils of Song Luo Hai, who was hiding in the rocks, suddenly shrank. Now is the time. His greed had already drowned his common sense, especially after seeing that the newly born Mosquito King had the origin soul of a cultivator. In his view, this wasn't the origin soul of someone who had left their body, but a cultivator who had lost their body and unexpectedly fused with a Mosquito King using some unknown method. It was a very special existence. This was his first time encountering something like this. In his mind, this Mosquito King was a cultivator. Controlling a Mosquito King was too difficult, but controlling the origin soul of a cultivator that had fused with the Mosquito King shouldn't be too difficult. With that in mind, he could not give up this opportunity, but those hundreds of blue mosquito beasts, thousands of red mosquito beasts, and two white mosquito beasts made it so he wouldn't dare to come out, no matter how greedy he got. However, upon seeing the perfect opportunity created by the collapse of the two white mosquito beasts that blasted away most of the blue and red mosquitoes, his heart came alive. This origin soul isn't strong, only about early stage Nirvana Shatterer. As long as I can control that origin soul within the Mosquito King, I can control the Mosquito King. Song Luo Hai clenched his teeth and popping sounds echoed inside his body. He suddenly shot out from the rock and moved like a bolt of lightning. He moved through the shockwave of the two collapsed white mosquito beasts and charged at Wang Lin's mosquito beast. His timing was very good. Although his greed had overridden his common sense, he still had thought this through. The moment he flew out, his hands formed a seal and his mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer power spread out like crazy. The illusion of a sun and moon appeared behind him. He started off with his strongest attack. He was from the Silent Soul sect, and they specialized in spells against the soul. They would often not harm the body, but directly target the soul. As his spell spread out, Song Luo Hai let out a roar. This roar contained a spell that targeted origin souls. Under this roar, origin souls would tremble and become dizzy for a moment. All of his actions and calculations were perfect, but the person he encountered was Wang Lin. Wang Lin had already noticed Song Luo Hai's presence but didn't pay any attention to him. Now that the two white mosquito beasts had collapsed and Song Luo Hai appeared, the star of law Wang Lin was in began to flash. The moment the other party charged out, Wang Lin's mosquito beast immediately retreated. Song Luo Hai's body charged through the shockwave. Just as he was about to catch up, the Star of Law began to rotate and Wang Lin's origin soul took form. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with mockery as he waved his right hand. A gust of wind that turned into a storm suddenly appeared and shot toward Song Luo Hai. It collided with Song Luo Hai's spell and caused an earth-shattering rumble. Song Luo Hai's expression immediately turned pale, and he coughed out blood. His body trembled and he involuntarily stepped back few dozen feet. His face was filled with terror. That wind wasn't powerful, but it contained powerful Tao intent and law. It had disturbed his mind and almost caused his domain to collapse. However, the next scene caused him to lose his wit. He saw Wang Lin's origin soul point at him. At the same time, the Mosquito King immediately let out a hiss. In an instant, all the surrounding mosquito beasts charged in from all directions and sealed all paths of escape. He was trapped inside the mosquito herd. Thousands of red mosquito beasts and hundreds of blue mosquito beasts. This was also Wang Lin's first time seeing them display their power as a group. Thunderous rumbling came from the mosquito herd along with Song Luohai's frightened roar. "I know I've done wrong. Fellow cultivator, have mercy. Fellow cultivator, have mercy. I'm an elder of the Silent Soul sect. If fellow cultivator lets me go, I'll definitely repay you in the future." His voice was filled with anxiety and plea. Wang Lin's expression was calm. He sent out a command, causing the Mosquito King to let out a cry, and the mosquito herd's attack became even more crazy. At this moment, in the Rank 8 region, where the Everlasting sect was located, there were 3 cultivation planets. The competition was being held on the second cultivation planet, and it had begun several days ago. The entire Everlasting sect was extremely lively during this once every 1,000 years competition. There was a large amount of people densely packed together, and they occupied the entire planet. They had even invited some powerful cultivators of the sect to come and watch the competition, making it even more lively. Some rogue cultivators had also come to watch this grand competition. A huge platform that occupied a portion of the cultivation planet was the location of the competition. Around the platform, there were countless steps that went up into the sky. These were seats, and they were filled with cultivators. The Origin sect was in a small area in the northern edge. Compared to the other sects, who had hundreds of people, the Origin sect only had 10 people and looked very bleak. Lu Yanfei silently sat there. Only a few more days remained until the competition between the Rank 4 sects would finish, then it would be the Rank 5 sect's turn. The rest of the Origin sect members were all crestfallen as they sat there. Their eyes were filled with loss and sorrow, as if the fate of their Origin sect could not be changed. "I'm feeling unwell and will go back first," Lu Yanfei said as she stood up to go back to the house the main sect had provided, even though that place was even more remote and bleak. A frivolous voice came from not far away. "Is that the beauty Lu, who is secretly considered the number 1 cultivation furnace of the Rank 5 region? She is indeed very good. It was worth spending so many Origin crystals to make you a member of my celestial music sect after your Origin sect is disbanded." Shortly after, a middle-aged man wearing blue walked out with a warm smile. When he appeared, some people recognized him, and their expressions immediately changed and they quickly left. This made the place the Origin sect was located even more desolate and eye-catching. Being stared at made the members of the Origin sect turn pale and remain silent. Shu Yun bit her lower lip so hard that it almost bled. This middle-aged man wasn't just by himself but had 2 white-haired elders following him. Their gazes were like lightning, and anyone who met their gazes would feel their mind tremble. Rank 6 region's celestial music sect. From this person's appearance, he should be the sect's head disciple, Lu Yingjie. The celestial music sect has ranked first several times among the Rank 6 sects and has garnered a lot of attention from the main sect. Rumor has it that one of the 3 people being chosen to be sent out for the competition between the Rank 8 sects will be from the celestial music sect. In particular, this Lu Yingjie cultivates an extremely vicious cultivation method and often needs a lot of cultivation furnaces. Even if they are powerful, none seem to be able to escape. There are simply too many rumors about this Lu Yingjie. I heard that he has some blood relation with Elder Lu of the Everlasting sect. Elder Lu is at the peak of the Nirvana Shatterer stage, so, with Elder Lu behind him, it is no wonder this Lu Yingjie dares to be so overbearing. Lu Yanfei's body trembled and her eyes revealed a cold gaze as she turned to look at the man in blue. This man was rather handsome and gave off a manly aura. "The Origin sect hasn't disbanded and won't disband," Lu Yanfei said calmly before turning around to leave. Lu Yingjie smiled and softly said, "Fellow cultivator Lu, don't blame me. I only heard about the cultivation furnace from others and am merely teasing. However, I come with good intentions. If the Origin sect does disband, Lady Lu will have a good place to go. Forget about the origin sect disbanding. Even if it disbands, my purple Dao sect will accept them all. These cold words came from another direction as a man in purple gradually walked over. He coldly looked at Lu Yingjie before looking at Lu Yanfei and politely clasping his hands. Greetings, fellow cultivator Lu. Lu Yanfei was startled. Fellow cultivator Lu doesn't need to think about it too much. Although brother Liu and I only met once, that night of Dao debate was something I'll never forgot. If he returns, not only will the origin sect not disband, it is even possible it will become the #1 branch sect. Lu Yunzong revealed a look of reminiscence and melancholy. So fellow cultivator Lu also fancies the origin sect and wants to compete with me. I just don't know who this brother Liu you speak of is. Could it be me? Lu Yingjie faintly smiled. It was impossible to tell if he was happy or angry, even his words were as light as the clouds. Lu Yunzong frowned and didn't hold back at all as he roared, "Shut up. Who do you think you are to mention brother Liu? If he was here, he could kill you as easily as squishing an ant." Lu Yingjie's expression was gloomy as he stared at Lu Yunzong. He still remembered that 1,000 years ago, it was this person who became the first rank 5 sect that dared to challenge the #1 sect of the rank 6 region, the Celestial Music sect. Although their challenge failed in the end, it was a disgrace to the Celestial Music sect. This person had stepped on the Celestial Music sect to make the Purple Dao sect famous and allowed the name Lu Yunzong to spread across the cloud sea. Lu Yunzong was even more menacing in this grand competition and had become much more powerful than 1,000 years ago. It was likely that he would challenge the Celestial Music sect again. If they were challenged by a rank 5 sect twice, the Celestial Music sect would lose face. If they showed a bit of weakness, even if they won, they would still be secretly ridiculed. Lu Yunzong, everyone can talk. I just don't know how this person named Liu will kill me like an ant. Lu Yingjie's expression gradually calmed down. He was a gloomy person, but he didn't like to show it. It only took a few seconds for him to suppress the anger that had risen up. There was a flash of coldness in Lu Yunzong's eyes. He could naturally see through Lu Yingjie's personality, but the more he saw, the more he disliked him. If he comes, you will find out. Lu Yunzong's voice was cold. Aside from the competition, the biggest reason he had come to the Everlasting Sect was to see Wang Lin again. Therefore, he paid a lot of attention to the Origin Sect. However, just as Lu Yunzong spoke, a strange voice that seemed to come from between someone's teeth surrounded the area. I'm also looking forward to this person named Liu you speak of, Lu Yunzong. The moment this voice appeared, Lu Yunzong's expression changed. Not only him, but the expressions of everyone in the Origin Sect, including Lu Yanfei, changed. This voice sounded weak, but the moment it appeared, it affected everyone's origin souls and caused them to fluctuate violently. If one's cultivation level wasn't high enough, their face would turn pale and their origin soul would be injured in this confusion. Only Lu Yingjie remained normal, but there was a look of surprise in his eyes. He turned around and respectfully clasped his hand. Greetings, Senior Zhao. The space behind Lu Yingjie twisted and ripples echoed as a person gradually walked out. This person was a middle-aged man, and his most notable features were his hook-like nose, thin lips, and gloomy eyes. These made him look very vicious. Lu Yunzong's expression changed, and after a long time, he said, Greetings, Rank 7 Mountain Seeking Sect's Senior Zhao. Lu Yunzong's words pointed out this person's identity as a warning to Lu Yanfei and the others. Lu Yanfei's face revealed a moment of bitterness as she and the other Origin Sect cultivators respectfully greeted this person. This person's appearance immediately made the surroundings cold. Some of the onlookers immediately backed up, and some even straight up left. This was originally about the Origin Sect, but it had quickly changed to be a matter between the Purple Dao Sect, the Celestial Music Sect, and the Mountain Seeking Sect. The focus of their confrontation seemed to be the mysterious person named Liu that Lu Yunzong had brought up. The middle-aged man named Zhao walked next to Lu Yingjie and nodded slightly. Lu Yingjie became even more respectful. Since this man has said this person can kill you like squeezing an ant, then you should accept this challenge. I also want to see if this mysterious person named Liu is real or fake, the middle-aged man slowly said, and his voice was as feminine as always. Lu Yingjie revealed a smile and nodded. Since that is the case, then I really want to see how powerful this mysterious person named Liu is. However, if this person doesn't show up or isn't as strong as fellow Liu says, then what should we do? Senior Zhao, please give us guidance. The middle-aged man named Zhao looked at Lu Yunzong and gloomily said, if that is the case, then I'll naturally be the witness. This is no small matter. How can such empty words be said? Lu Yunzong's expression remained gloomy and he didn't speak for a long time. Although the mountain-seeking sect wasn't the strongest among the rank 7 sects, Senior Zhao was an external elder and had a good relationship with the Silent Soul sect. If he came forward, he could make a lot of noise about this matter. Lu Yanfei bit her lower lip and saw that Lu Yunzong was in an embarrassing situation. A moment later, she softly said, this matter has nothing to do with fellow cultivator Lu. This is a matter of my origin sect. Before Lu Yanfei could finish speaking, the middle-aged man named Zhao's eyes turned cold and he stared at Lu Yanfei. This gaze was like a pair of swords that flew out and landed in Lu Yanfei's eyes. Lu Yanfei only felt her body tremble, and a roar echoed in her origin soul. She couldn't help but retreat several dozen feet. Her face turned pale and blood came out from her mouth. Her entire body became weak. A little girl like you isn't qualified to speak here. The surroundings immediately quieted down. The people of the origin sect were all angry, but none of them dared to say a word. They could only swallow this humiliation and let the bitterness fill their bodies. After pondering for a long time, Lu Yunzong looked at Zhao Long and said, if Brother Liu doesn't come or can't kill Lu Yingjie like crushing an ant, then I'll naturally give Senior Zhao an explanation. Zhao Long revealed a gloomy smile and let out a harsh laugh as he turned to leave. Beside him, Lu Yingjie directed an apologetic gaze at Lu Yanfei but didn't even look at Lu Yunzong as he turned to leave with Zhao Long. The place they were in was merely a drop in the bucket compared to the platform the competition was held on. At this moment, a ray of white light closed in on the various platforms the competition was being held at. This white light crossed the sky and created a series of thunderous rumbles. Before it got close, it had already attracted the attention of the surrounding cultivators. The aura of a Nirvana Shatterer cultivator spread out from the white light. Several shadows flew out from the everlasting sect to greet it. After the white light closed in, it slowed down. This allowed all the cultivators who looked over to see that it was a woman inside. They also saw the blue hair that belonged only to one person in the Cloud Sea. Li Qianmai. Rank 9 Heaven-breaking sec. An uproar suddenly occurred as the nearly 100,000 cultivators here all recognized the identity of the blue-haired woman. It turns out to be the Heaven-breaking sect's Li Qianmai. I didn't think the Everlasting sect's competition would attract her to attend. Rumors say that she was battling the Beast Tide at the Demon sect. It is unexpected for her to leave and come here. Rumor has it that during the battle against the Beast Tide, no cultivator involved is allowed to leave. How did Li Qianmai obtain the Demon sect's permission to leave? The sounds of discussions spread across the platform with the appearance of Li Qianmai. Not even the battle of the rank 4 sects could attract anyone's attention anymore. Lu Yingjie naturally also saw Li Qianmai high up in the sky, and his eyes lit up. He knew Li Qianmai. She once asked him 3 questions. Even Zhao Long beside Lu Yingjie became serious as he looked up. He respected Li Qianmai, who came from the rank 9 Heaven-breaking sect. Whether it was her cultivation level or sect, they were both things he couldn't compare to. The person in charge of the competition today was an old man named Feng Hai. There were 6 other Everlasting sect elders with him. After sensing Li Qianmai, he immediately flew out with the elders along with a few dozen disciples. After them, the 100 people responsible for the event also flew up. This large group of people greeted Li Qianmai's arrival. It is our Everlasting sect's great honor for fellow cultivator Lu to come. My name is Feng Hai. Feng Hai smiled, and he was very enthusiastic as he clasped his hands. The 6 elders behind him also smiled and clasped their hands in respect. The disciples all revealed respectful expressions. They also looked at Li Qianmai with eyes filled with admiration and awe. Aside from these people, More than 10 rays of light were flying over from the far side of the planet. This was another core group of the Everlasting Sect, showing how much they valued Li Qianmai. I believe fellow cultivator Li just came from the beast tide. Please come with me to a place the Everlasting Sect has prepared for you to rest. I presume the sect master had also learned of your arrival. It is great honor for us that fellow cultivator was willing to come. Feng Hai clasped his hands as his laughter echoed. Although Li Qianmai had become the focus of everyone, she was still calm. She didn't rashly spread out her divine sense to search herself, but looked at everyone before her gaze fell on Feng Hai. She softly said, "Rest isn't urgent." Fellow cultivator Feng, did the rank 5 Origin sect come to this competition? Origin sect? Feng Hai was startled. A disciple immediately flew over and spoke into his ear. This Origin sect has indeed come. After Feng Hai heard this, he smiled, but doubts appeared in his heart. Could the small Origin sect have some relationship with Li Qianmai? Li Qianmai suppressed her emotions before asking, "Where are they?" Feng Hai's doubt became even stronger, but he didn't show any of it. He looked at the disciple behind him that had spoken to him earlier. He was a youth, and he quickly said, "In the northern platform, on the edge." When his words got to this point, Li Qianmei's divine sense spread out and enveloped entire northern area. She immediately found the people of the Origin sect. Compared to the entire platform, that place was truly insignificant. However, the moment Li Qianmai found the Origin sect, she flew over like lightning. Feng Hai's eyes shrank indiscernibly and he quickly followed. The 6 elders behind him followed with doubt in their hearts. Their movement caused the Everlasting Sect members behind him to move as well. The movement of over 100 people immediately attracted the attention of the cultivators all over the platform. All sorts of speculations began, and some impatient people simply flew north. With someone taking the lead, even more people followed. At this moment, the competition began to turn chaotic. The 2 people from the rank 4 sects were originally fighting fiercely, but now they bitterly smiled and looked north. Even further away, the dozen or so rays of light rushing over also closed in. The one in front was a red-haired elder who gave off a Nirvana Shatterer aura, and the dozen or so elders that followed him all had high cultivation levels. After closing in, the red-haired old man immediately saw the chaos caused by the tens of thousands of cultivators and frowned. He shouted, "No flying." After he spoke those 2 words, they turned into a thunderous rumble that spread out. Some cultivators that had just flown into the air trembled and immediately landed on the ground. His voice spread out as shockwaves, immediately suppressing the chaos and causing everyone to calm down. Frowning, the red-haired old man immediately saw Li Qianmei's figure and rushed over with more than a dozen elders behind him. Li Qianmei quickly flew, disregarding how she had alarmed the entire Everlasting Sect. She flew straight north to where the Origin Sect was. When she got near, she landed and her gaze swept forward. The joy in Liu Yingjie was even stronger. Before, he only saw Li Qianmei from far away and didn't dare to spread out his divine sense, so he hadn't heard Li Qianmei ask about the Origin Sect. At this moment, he took a deep breath as he put a kind smile on his face. The moment Li Qianmei got close, he said, "Lady Li, it's been 100 years since we last met. I wonder if you still remember me." Zhao Long, who was beside him, also revealed a look of respect and clasped his hands with a smile. "So fellow cultivator Li knows Liu Yingjie. I'm the rank 7 mountain seeking sect's Zhao Long." After the 2 of them spoke, the surrounding people were all shocked. It was obvious that no one thought the reason for the Daughter of the Heavens to rush over would be Liu Yingjie. Liu Yingjie is rumored to be very romantic. I didn't think that even Li Qianmei would be acquainted with him, or would even come to the Everlasting Sect due to him. If this matter is true, the Celestial Music Sect will become famous before even competing. I didn't expect this. I wonder what about this Liu Yingjie allowed him to gain Li Qianmei's favor. I just don't understand. Even the Everlasting Sect people who had followed Li Qianmei here looked at Liu Yingjie, but Feng Hai and company frowned. They had clearly heard Li Qianmei ask about the Origin Sect, but now with Liu Yingjie appearing, their doubts became even stronger. Liu Yingjie smiled even wider as all the attention was on him. He walked forward a few steps and was about to catch up with Li Qianmai, who had just landed. After Li Qianmai heard Liu Yingjie speak, her gaze locked onto him, and she frowned. As Liu Yingjie walked up, she indifferently walked past him. She had battled against the beast tied in the crack for almost 100 years and had just come from the battleground without any rest. Her body was naturally filled with killing intent, and one gaze caused Liu Yingjie's heart to feel a chill. His face immediately stiffened but soon returned to normal, and he clasped his hands, smiling. It has been 100 years, but Lady Li is still so valiant and formidable. However, before Liu Yingjie could finish speaking, Li Qianmai walked past him without stopping. This caused Liu Yingjie to stiffen and swallow his words. Not only him, but even Zhao Long, who was originally smiling, froze. This sudden scene caused the surrounding cultivators to raise their eyebrows. This surprise completely reversed the situation. There was even a hint of mockery in the eyes of the surrounding cultivators. Li Qianmai didn't even look at Liu Yingjie and headed straight for the origin sect. When she got closer, her gaze swept by everyone and landed on Lu Yanfei. Lu Yanfei wiped the blood off the corner of her mouth as if erasing the bitterness on her body and looked at Li Qianmai. Li Qianmai silently pondered and bit her lower lip. After a long time, she softly said, "Did he come?" These words clearly entered the ears of the surrounding cultivators and immediately caused an uproar. Everyone was guessing who this he was. Even the people of the Everlasting Sect were wondering the same thing. Feng Hai's eyes lit up and an answer to his doubts gradually formed. At this moment, the red-haired elder with more than 10 other elders arrived and saw this. There was a hint of shock in his eyes as he looked at Feng Hai, and they both had their own thoughts. Liu Yingjie also heard these words. Even with his mental strength, his expression changed. After experiencing what he just had, it was extremely difficult to remain calm. His expression was extremely ugly, but he also had vague feeling that something bad was going to happen. The expression of Zhao Long beside him changed greatly. He was different from Liu Yingjie, and immediately looked at Lu Yunzong. After Lu Yunzong felt his gaze, he sneered and revealed an unhidden trace of disdain. Zhao Long suddenly felt his heart skip a beat. He felt that the mysterious Persian Lu Yunzong had spoken of wasn't as simple as he had thought. Lu Yanfei silently pondered, and after a while, she shook her head. Although she hadn't met Li Qianmai, she could clearly understand who the he Li Qianmai was talking about was. He didn't come. Li Qianmai let out a sigh as she raised her head and looked up at the sky with a hint of melancholy. Her blue hair gently blew with the wind, containing a crestfallen feeling. "There hasn't been any news of him in 100 years, Lu Yanfei said as she looked at Li Qianmai. She hesitated for a moment but didn't continue speaking. Li Qianmai bit her lower lip as she shook her head and softly said, "Forget it." With that, there was a flash of coldness as she looked at Lu Yanfei and gently said, "You're injured? The injury is fresh. Who did it?" Lu Yanfei's expression was calm as she indifferently said, "Earlier, this Liu Yingjie said that after the origin sect disbands, I'll become his cultivation furnace, and he threatened to fight Uncle Teacher. Next to him is the rank 7 mountain seeking sect's elder, Zhao Long. He thought that this little woman's voice was unpleasant and that I wasn't qualified to talk, so he punished me." After Liu Yingjie heard this, his expression changed. He looked at Lu Yanfei before shouting, "She's full of nonsense." In fact, what he said was true. He didn't say he wanted Lu Yanfei to become his cultivation furnace, but he did intend to make her one. Zhao Long's expression changed and there was a flash of coldness in his eyes. Li Qianmei's expression calmed down as she turned around to look at Zhao Long and Liu Yingjie. Liu Yingjie was about to speak, but Zhao Long quickly retreated. His hands formed seal and a spell began to appear. However, just as Zhao Long retreated, Li Qianmei suddenly moved. She was very fast and created after images as she rushed forward. She crossed the crowd in just a moment with her late-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivation and appeared behind Zhao Long before gently waving her hand. A monstrous killing aura suddenly appeared. This killing intent was shocking and contained thunderous roars. It gave off a demonic feel, and it immediately enveloped Zhao Long's body. A miserable scream echoed as Zhao Long coughed out blood and was immediately thrown into the air. His left arm collapsed into a pile of flesh and blood. At the same time, his right arm and both legs exploded as well. Following that, his body exploded. The smell of blood spread out as Zhao Long's origin soul escaped with panic and fear in his eyes. Li Qianmai calmly looked at Everlasting Sect's Feng Hai and the red-haired elder and softly said, "If you two mind, I'll give the Everlasting Sect an explanation." After she finished, she looked at Liu Yingjie and said, "Since you want to fight him, I'll leave you with your life. If he doesn't come, then I'll take yours and that person named Zhao's lives." That sharp blow and simple words created a powerful impact. It made everyone who saw this gasp, and shock filled their eyes. The people of the Everlasting Sect were also silent. Feng Hai looked at the red-haired elder before he coughed and said, "Fellow cultivator Li, who is this person you speak of, I wonder?" "The Origin Sect's Lu Yanfei's uncle teacher." Li Qianmai nodded. Then she let out a sigh and looked at the sky. No one knew what she was thinking. Lu Yanfei no longer hesitated and softly said, "Uncle teacher said 100 years ago that he would come." At this moment, the he that everyone was speculating about was moving across the celestial realm with nearly 5,000 red mosquito beasts and hundreds of blue mosquito beasts. It was like a red cloud that covered the sky, and it swept across the outer edge of the wind celestial realm. The wind wailed across the empty wind celestial realm. However, this wind was nothing compared to the buzzing of the mosquito beasts. In the center of the mosquito herd, there was a golden mosquito king that was letting out thunderous roars. Every roar would cause the surrounding mosquitoes to tremble in awe and rapidly fly forward. Wang Lin was sitting on top of the mosquito king with flowing white hair as he looked at the inner part of the celestial realm. His eyes lit up. His injuries had recovered a bit over the past several days, but, more importantly, the large amount of mosquito beasts he gathered had increased his strength greatly. "I want to enter the inner part of the wind celestial realm, then I'll get enough mosquito beasts and then go fulfill my promise with the Origin Sect." The golden mosquito king under Wang Lin let out a cry. The red cloud formed by thousands of mosquito beasts immediately changed directions and charged toward where most of the mosquito beasts were gathered in the wind celestial realm. This video will end here.